let's see. There's Adams to the Jets, Amari Cooper to the Bills. We've got Cam Akers traded back to the Vikings. What's that mean for Aaron Jones? Maybe Aaron Jones isn't doing well. We got AR5 likely to start, or is he? And we've got Russell Wilson in line to start, not totally confirmed. We have more news than that. Alvin, Kamara, you name it, the Fantasy Football Show, breaking news show, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Every single Monday through Friday show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Well, here we are again, discussing more NFL news, breaking news, some of this new, some of this old, some of this digested, and here we are. Man, what a crazy day. First, this Davante Adams trade, which there's a lot to go over since it happened. Just small stuff, but things that help shape, the day. Davante Adams reworked his deal, restructured already a contract that lowers his salary to this year being $3.21 million per source. 2 voidable years added to the deal, and the two sides will now discuss the future in New York. Meaning he's going to get another contract of sorts, but now he's playing for $3.21 million on a restructure. I mean, you can move a lot of money around, put a lot of money up front in deals. Like, this is crazy when you have teams saying, oh, we can't do this because of money, or Jerry Jones, who has been on a tear today, ripping two radio reporters or radio personalities for asking him questions. He says he should fire them or have them replaced. And Jerry Jones embarrassing himself because he's an embarrassing man and a human being right now. And when he talks about not bringing Derrick Henry in and they couldn't afford this and that, money is, especially running back money or old man wide receiver money, is movable. It's all fairy dust, pixie dust, doesn't exist. And it's hilarious when people try and justify, oh, the reason, I'm a Cowboys fan, Smitty, the reason we didn't do it is because the money. Don't give me that. You could also have drafted Braylon Allen. This is all on Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones created this entire mess. And there's more to that, though. We have people freaking out about CeeDee Lamb, as if CeeDee Lamb isn't a top 5 wide receiver. He's the best buy low in fantasy. Even if the team's not winning, that's in some ways better for Lamb. Lamb's going to catch a whole bunch of amazing production because they're down and playing from behind. It's easy. I don't understand why people find it so difficult to understand that Lamb Chops is in a beautiful position walking into the remaining part of the season no matter what. And that Dak Prescott and Lamb will get back on the same page to some degree. Does that mean they win? Does that mean they're a Super Bowl contending team? Does that mean they go deep into the playoffs? Does that mean that the Cowboys even make the playoffs? No. But from a fantasy perspective, from a Dak Prescott to CeeDee Lamb perspective, it's buy low season. Back on point, this reconstruction is crazy. This right here, more news. Schefter reports that Davante Adams' hamstring is planning to make his Jets debut in Week 7. So basically, oh, my hamstring, Smitty. Oh, my hamstring. You've been traded. Sweet. Let's get going. Hamstring feels great, believe it or not. So this we hear from Amari Cooper. Oh no, we have this Jets. No. I think we're good on everything right now. That's Adams. If I have something else clipped over here, I'll read it. But this right here is from Amari Cooper on his Instagram stories, handful of hours ago. Move or rust. This guy was feeling it, and you can't blame the man for feeling that way and just being excited to be out of a situation that was tearing him apart, eating him alive, and wasting away his talents. Now Amari Cooper gets to go play football, if you didn't know, in Buffalo with Josh Allen and become an absolute potential, top 15 wide receiver threat. Let's not put our cart before our horse or get ahead of our skis or anything. We got a $50 hauler from Joe. Joe, appreciate you. Joe, I'll get to you first out of all the super chats. Hang tight for me. All the super chats, hang tight. I do the monologue first. It's kind of a thing on the channel just to make sure that we don't let this channel lose its personality or identity when we are in super chat season, because the most important thing about this show is you guys, and the sum total of you need to feel like you can count on this show. The news portion, the monologue, we're always going to keep that the way it is. So just make sure you know that I'm coming for your super chats. Hang tight. As for what was I even saying? Oh, just that Amari Cooper has a real shot at being a top 15 wide receiver, and Josh Allen, who's already the number 1 or number 2 fantasy football quarterback, just becomes that much safer. And even if he doesn't, let's say, utilize Cooper enough, we know what Josh Allen's capable of doing without Cooper. We've been watching it. He's an absolute just genius on the field, a wizard, a fantasy football wizard, an NFL wizard, a put you on my back and carry the entire team wizard. And when people make fun of Josh Allen choking in big games, not being able to close out, I laugh at their lack of football knowledge, or just that they're blinded by their fandom. And that might be most of the case. I don't want to sit here and say every person that says bad things about Josh Allen not closing, or that he's not a good quarterback, or Brock Purdy is so much better than Josh Allen because we've gotten to championship games. That's such a laughable thing. But I think most of those cases, those people aren't lacking intelligence in football. If they really believed it, I would say yes. But their fandom is taking over. It's natural, and that's okay, and that's fun. And if that's the excuse, then I Smitty approve you to go to town, go ham on your team, support your team, rip on every other quarterback whenever you get a chance. That's what a true fan is. So congrats on you for being a good fan. But Josh Allen is already proving he can do all of this without a wide receiver. What do you think he's going to do with the option of a veteran Amari Cooper that knows how to mingle with the new roster, knows how to mesh with the new system? And it's going to be like riding a bike for him, and it's going to be very, very solid watching the two build the rapport quickly. And Josh Allen, out of all quarterbacks, will find a way to get this guy the football early. And Amari Cooper, out of most all wide receivers, will be able to adapt quickly because he's been a journeyman to a degree. Now, being a journeyman isn't a great thing. There's obviously a problem when you're playing for a third or a fourth, or in some cases other players' fifth or sixth team. But this is a unique situation where he's been in two black hole situations, one in the Raiders situation, and then the second one here in Las Vegas. So it's hard to blame, Raiders and then the Buffalo or the Cleveland Browns. These two situations are very bad. It's hard to blame him for both of these situations. It's hard to say, hey, Amari Cooper, you didn't get the best out of, the teams didn't get the best out of you. I blame that on you. These are two awful situations. Now, I don't know what's in store for him this year. I can't tell you that I would trade an injured Nico Collins for him. I'd rather wait on Nico for 3 more weeks, because Nico still, after a 1 week absence, leads the league in rush and receiving yards. But maybe we're starting to look at combos of players on your bench. A Chuba Hubbard, who might get more time than we thought, according to a report I'll get to in a minute. Not a ton, but just that we might not see Jonathan Brooks till week 10, 11 in terms of being like out there getting tons and tons of work. Maybe week 9 is when we see a glimpse of him. So, like, would I trade well-playing Chuba Hubbards, or maybe look to send a wide receiver like Deontay Johnson with a player like that, or try and figure out a way to get Amari Cooper on the cheap? I would. Same thing with Adams. Am I trading a bona fide high-end wide receiver 2 to go get Adams? No. Do I trade Mike Evans to get Adams? No, probably not. Do I trade other players that are highly performing, outperforming their expectation for Adams? Yeah. Would I send 2 players packing for Adams? Yeah. I think we can't get too excited and get ahead of our skis, as I was saying earlier, by trying to go acquire Adams and Cooper at wide receiver 1 value, because we're excited that wide receiver 1, even low-end wide receiver 1 value, exists for both of them. There's just a right time and a place to acquire somebody, and some people get so excited about the buzz, they go and pay top dollar, sell low and buy high, and that's not the way you win leagues. A perfect example is, I've been asked, I think 3 or 4 times since the Lamb trade, should I trade Lamb for Adams and some scrub, or some even decent player, but somebody you're having to decide between him and another player to start each week. They're not even a bona fide lock to be in your lineup. No. Would I even trade lamb chops for Amari Cooper and Davante Adams together? No. Lamb is that good. Do I trade Gibbs for Lamb or for Adams, Smitty? No. Do I trade Amari Cooper for Gibbs, or do I trade Gibbs for Amari Cooper, Smitty? No. Like, why are we trading Gibbs and why are we trading Lamb away? It doesn't make any sense. We're going to buy those players. We're not selling those players. Gibbs and Lamb are the best buys of the week. This was the compensation for Adams. It was a third-round pick that can go to a second-round pick. That's unbelievable. You know, it's weird to me that I mean, Amari Cooper did go to the Buffalo Bills, but it was weird to me at the time that the Bills didn't make this trade because Adams is so good, but Amari Cooper is pretty good, you know, and that's, you know, it's a solid move. They're both older players, so they don't have like long-term value, but they have maybe another year of playing very well. Adams maybe another year of playing well as long as he's on the field, but missing handfuls of games because he is an older player. Ziggy, how old is Davante Adams?
Davante Adams is 31 years old and was born on December 24th.
Yeah, so he turns 32 in December. He turns 32 this year. So Adams is hard to trust from a long-term perspective. It is what it is. The compensation on that trade was Amari Cooper and a 6th-rounder for a 3rd and a 7th. Just giving Amari Cooper away for free. That's what the Browns do. Horrible trades. The Browns are here to deliver horrible trades and sign horrible contracts. Cam Akers traded to the Vikings again. Like, what's going on here? This is like that guy in your league that makes a trade and then trades, and then the other guy that gave up, let's say, a player, was able to go trade with that player, that owner, and get that player back without giving what he got for all that haul. Like, what's going on here? You got to wonder if there's something wrong with Aaron Jones. It's being called the depth move. Chandler is certainly the backup anyway, so if anybody's getting a cute idea here, like, oh, I think this might be the starter there for week, 7, 8, 9. No, it's not. If Aaron Jones did fall into a situation where he's actually a lot worse than we think, and keep in mind, Ziggy, how old is Aaron Jones?
Eric Jones is 40.
No, Aaron Jones. Ziggy, how old is Aaron Jones?
Aaron Jones is 29 years old.
Yeah, in December. He turns 30 in December. So there's a lot of concern with Aaron Jones staying healthy. So this is one of those situations where, yeah, it's certainly possible that this is a move that's made out of fear for Aaron Jones' health, but this is still the 3rd running back on the roster. But them making this trade makes me think there is something more going on with Aaron Jones. It's weird because he was on the sideline joking around after his injury. He was ruled out for the remainder of the game, but they showed him on the sideline joking around, moving around, kind of walking around, pacing and turning and twisting, and it's like, okay, it's probably nothing. It's probably just a 1-week thing. But apparently not. And there could be other things that happen between then and now that we don't know about. And so who knows? But Chandler is the guy, and Chandler needs to be grabbed in leagues if Chandler is available. This trading for a running back signifies that. What's wild is that, you would think that there'd be some ETN buzz right now too, right? But he got injured. So that we don't know if that's going to happen. ETN is a hot topic in the trade predicting space. Khalil Herbert's also a guy that you think, there's some potential that he could get traded. Then there's nothing there, obviously. This is the one running back that's getting traded. It's wild to me. I would have never bet in a million years it would have been back to the team that he did play for. It's so wild, but this is what it is. So here we are. So that's that news. Davante Adams again restructured his deal, costing $3 million. Davante Adams will make his debut in Week 7, which is fantastic. And the Jets they got to play catch up, so they got to have that happen. Alvin Kamara was limited, but trending in the direction of playing. This is in the right direction. He's on the right side of 50-50. Hand limited in practice. Same song and dance as last week. He played very well last week, so. as of right now, put him in your lineup and just be prepared to monitor news in case there's some sort of setback. But he's scheduled to be good to go, in my mind at least. James Cook, this is interesting. Bills coach Sean McDermott said that Cook has a chance to play the Titans Week 7 contest. This is like when your dad said in the morning, when I get home, maybe we'll throw the football. And you're like, oh, come on. We ain't throwing the football. There's no chance. When dad says we might get ice cream or we might throw the football in the morning, there's no way in hell in the evening when it comes time that he's got the energy and he made a promise he can't keep. This feels very much like James Cook has a chance to play. I don't think so. This is where we are going to look at Ray Davis and say Ray Davis maybe wins leagues, and this is the waiver wire and wins leagues per start. Okay, let's make that clarification. Ray Davis, there's a real good chance that even if he blows up in this Week 7 contest, there's no way that we can expect him to just take the job outright. James Cook's not losing the job that quickly, but it certainly could turn into a 50-50 backfield, because if Ray Davis goes out there and has 120 yards rushing and a touchdown or even 2 touchdowns, and then we walk into that next contest for the Buffalo Bills looking at Josh Allen and this team jiving, you got Amari Cooper and everything's flowing, I don't see how they take Ray Davis off the field. It's just a matter of there's no way James Cook's not going to be at least like 40-50% involved. And it's wild to even say that, but keep in mind, this is a team that's had a running back rotation since a lot of you had hair on your chest or, really even knew how to watch turn on a TV or watch a football game. Like this is a rotational system. It kind of always has been. And so to think that, like with the KC Chiefs with Pacheco, that everything is what it is. It's now new. It's one RB. They're fully committed. You don't really know how this is going to turn. There's no cemented in. This is what the Bills do. They're a one-back system. So Ray Davis fits the bill. Absolutely fits the bill for the type of running back that the Buffalo Bills want between the tackles. Doesn't mean that Cook won't be in there on third downs and rotate with them, but Davis is going to maybe get 10 to 12 carries per game, even if Cook comes back, if he blows up here in week number 7. And the Buffalo Bills are at home against the Tennessee Titans. They're going to look to ground and pound at home. They're going to look to get this ball rolling, so to speak. And if you think back to what this team did with Ray Davis on the first drive of week 6, they handed the ball off to him. They handed the ball off to him. They handed the ball off to him. They gave this man 3 or 4, was it 4 or 5? 3 or 4 or 5, I forget, carries on the first drive, and he marched them all the way down to the 1-yard line. And Josh Allen punched it in. If I remember correctly, there was a penalty. They went back. They ran Ray Davis again, so maybe 5 times. And he got down to the 1 or 2 yard line, and Josh Allen pounded the ball into the end zone again with the Josh Allen version of the brotherly shove. So Ray Davis was a part of from Jump Street of this offense, and they ran him like they didn't run James Cook. I'm not saying James Cook is bad. I'm not saying James Cook's not even someone you buy low. You might want to, actually. But Ray Davis might be here to stay. And, gee, Smitty, I don't remember you talking about Ray Davis. Well, you haven't been here then, because we talked about him all offseason. Look at these midseason monsters, by the way. Not all of them are smashing yet. And Jaylen Warren feels like he could be the major bust on the list. In it, there's still time. Penix Jr., who the hell knows how that's going to shake out. But man, would I say that these midseason monsters, Mason, and this was out of nowhere. This is an out of nowhere midseason monster. The combo of Garendo and Mason as a midseason monster. This won leagues. This essentially won leagues. This is probably the best midseason monster board we have ever had. In terms of this, any type of version of midseason monsters, because Davis is just set up beautifully. Bowers is looking fantastic. Wright has tons of value. A lot of these guys, again, midseason isn't even here yet, so it's hard to know how this is going to shake out, but it's feeling really good. And again, James Cook might have a chance to play. Not sounding good. Ray Davis, get ready to fire him up. And if you've got him, he is a full load drop on the waiver wire, because this man and Tracy and Bigsby all look like they have starter roles right now. And that's important. Guerrero doesn't maybe trend that way because we have Mason practicing, but Guerrero would be if he gets the nod or something happens and there's a setback. Also, keep in mind, a lot of the deflated balloon syndrome that's out there with Guerrero, where people say, I didn't get it after all, Mason's back in, I'm done, I'm cutting him. Sometimes people get that deflated balloon syndrome and they run away from the situation like Wright. Remember, we thought Wright was going to get a shot, and then he didn't, and everybody ran away from him. And not only that, they called him trash, and they wrote him off. But that's a dangerous game to play, because just because the team isn't ready to unleash the player and the circumstances aren't right doesn't mean that when they get their real shot, they don't blossom and bloom into an absolute fantasy monster. So the same thing could be said with Guerrero. Just because Mason comes back for one game, keep in mind he hasn't had this kind of volume since high school. Jordan Mason, either as Guerrero, but Guerrero's not going to be asked to play a full season like Mason's kind of being asked to play. And so Mason could break down at some point, which is why Guerrero and Mason have all year long been a part of this must-have cuff situation where you've got McCaffrey, Mason, and Guerrero. So if you're walking into this next couple of weeks and you cut Guerrero, and I'm not saying there aren't situations where you need to, but you want to be mindful, monitor the guy. But if Guerrero gets in there because Mason breaks, because Mason never ran for 1,000 yards in college, this is an 800 and 400 and 900 yard. I think he only had like one 800 or 900 yard season too. Like, this is Jordan Mason, a very, very low volume. The pedigree isn't there from the carry perspective, not necessarily the genetics. I'm not saying that, but from the pedigree of a college runner coming in with resume of taking a beating, his body knowing how to get hit, his shoulder knowing how to get hit, his elbow, his wrist, his knees, his hips, everything. There's a certain amount of abuse and volatility that a running back has to endure to prove they are a longevity workhorse. I can get hit between the tackles and stack game upon game and feel like you got in a car accident after every game. NFL players say all the time that every time they play a game, it feels like being in a car accident. They got to recover in time. They're never going to be fully 100% from one game to the next. They go into the next car accident. Week 4 is a bigger car accident than week 3. And then by week 16, 17, if you are a running back and you played a full 17 game slate of games, you've barely recovered to even 50% on your last game, and you're just trying to muster up one more go, your knees, your joints, everything. There is a chance that Guerrero still starts a game or two. We have no clue, so keep that in mind. AR5 looking like he's going to start one moment, then you see a report like this where the Colts head coach Shane Steichen said Anthony Richardson oblique is the team starter when healthy. We heard that last week when he was supposed to start, and then they pulled him back and they put Flacco out there. So they can use this when healthy very loosely. We knew they would look at this, but it did seem like Anthony Richardson was very much trending to start week number 7 about 24 hours ago. It still may be the case. This could just be when someone asked the question and he wanted to make sure people were very understanding that they're not even questioning this man being their starter, and nor should they. And even if you want to play Monday morning quarterback over here and say Anthony Richardson didn't have the accuracy, can't stay healthy, he can't do this and can't do that, they have a bust on their hands, you're probably the same person that wrote off Josh Allen after his rookie year when he was no better throwing the football than this man Anthony Richardson. I am not going to give up on Anthony Richardson. I'm not going to be an Anthony Richardson apologist. I'm not going to sit here and try to justify why you should start him if he does play week 7 in your fantasy football lineup. But I certainly think that people that abandon Anthony Richardson without giving him a proper shake when he's a raw talent anyway that we all expected to develop throwing the ball but run the ball well, then you're giving up on him before he even has a chance to prove that he can get more accurate and better. And keep in mind that it wasn't but a handful of weeks before he got injured, or even a week and a half before he got injured, that we're all still mesmerized by his 60-yard back foot throw into the end zone. Absolute missile. Amazing toss. I think that was to Alec Pierce, was that one. And everyone's mesmerized, talking about how this guy is bleeding with talent. Yeah, he's raw, but good God, no one in the NFL could have thrown that pass. There's still an immense amount of upside and production potential in Anthony Richardson. And what do the Colts have in Flacco? Who cares about winning a single game or two? They're not winning the Super Bowl. The Colts have zero chance to win the Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. Zero. If you think the Colts have a shot at winning the Super Bowl, winning consecutive playoff games against the best teams in the league, you don't know football. There's no chance that Flacco helps them do anything. So at the end of the day, you got to get this kid reps so he can go into 2025 and maybe bring something to the table that you say, yep, he is actually our guy. That's the only thing you have. There's nothing else for the Colts to do. So anybody that says going to Anthony Richardson's a mistake doesn't know ball. There's nothing for them to do. You can't give up on a kid you loved 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. You can't do it. And you have to expect that this is what he's going to endure. No one's saying he'll come to fruition, especially to the degree we had held a high standard for him. I admit that, and I take ownership of that. And I take even a lap on that. I've taken a lap on that already several times. But at the end of the day, you want to write this kid off completely. That's on you. I'm not saying he'll work out, but he's certainly still got a shot. And I'm going to go ahead and be excited about watching his comeback tour. Maybe comeback, mid-season comeback player of the year, failure in the year, comeback player inside the same year. But that's all I got to say about Anthony Richardson. But Olave, definitely unlikely to play in Thursday's tilt against the Denver Broncos in New Orleans. I don't think he can even physically pass the protocol, even if he wanted to. There's no chance of him really playing is what the word is. So if you have Olave, expect to be without him. And on that note, we have bad news on that wide receiver front still, because Shaheed is also not practicing, and they're taking a further look at his knee today. So there's a real chance that Shaheed isn't playing either because it's Thursday. So Rattler's getting handed a very bad hand on this entire Saints team. They'll lean on the run with Alvin Kamara. So if Alvin Kamara is a go, he might have either the worst game of his life or a 200-yard, 2-touchdown rushing affair. Or 200 total yards and a 2-touchdown rushing affair. This could be the Alvin Kamara game. It's either going to be the Alvin Kamara game that breaks him or makes him a fantasy monster this year. Hard to say which one, to be honest. But it could go either way. Denver is going to have to make Kamara win this game. Russell Wilson, Cav is in line to start week 7, but this has been reported a couple different ways. It's not official yet. Everybody keeps saying Fields is out. What do I do? You don't know that, but it is looking like it's trending that way. At least NFL Network's Tom Pelissero saying that, and a couple beat writers are. But it's still that Russell Wilson is competing to start. He could still screw it up during the week, so keep that in mind before you release Fields if you have no other options, and then you let your one option go and he ends up starting again this week. But it's amazing to me that this team has not decided that Fields is their starter. Tomlin is making a grave mistake, in my opinion, by not backing the man that got him where he's at right now. Like, that's pretty wild to me. Fields has done very well. I know it hasn't been perfect, but they're about to see what imperfection is when they shove Russell Wilson into the spotlight. I think Russ could do okay, but I don't know if he's going to look better than Fields looks, but we'll see. Maybe he does, and we're all celebrating the return of Russell Wilson of old, but I just think this is a guy that A, can't stay healthy, B, looks so much better practicing than when he's playing, and C, I just don't know that he's still got it left in the tank. This is a lot of pressure for him. He's got Fields looking over his shoulder. It's not what Russell Wilson wants or needs, is Fields sitting there when Fields has been doing pretty well. Joe Person writes from The Athletic that he doesn't expect the Panthers to rush Jonathan Brooks back from the knee injury, and that a Week 9 appearance is a realistic expectation for him. This is what we've been saying all year long. Chuba is going to continue to have value until probably Week 11 or 12, when there's maybe such a big shift that either they both eliminate each other and neutralize their value, or Brooks could take over because this is the future. But look, I don't see a scenario where Brooks is the 80% ball carrier this year. Chuba Hubbard would have to get hurt, and he could because he's being overworked, but I don't think Chuba loses his job to Brooks this year. I think at the worst case scenario, it's a 50-50 backfield, and Chuba's got great value for the next handful of weeks still. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says the NFL is still reviewing Deshaun Watson's latest case despite Watson and the plaintiff settling. So the Browns are probably just hoping that Roger Goodell takes action so they don't have to. I have a feeling this entire coaching staff is writing letters to Roger Goodell saying, put him on the exempt list paid. Please, give us a shot. Because it seems like the brass in Cleveland will not allow this coaching staff to coach. Because you know that damn well that this coaching staff wants to remove Watson from the starting lineup, but they're paying him too much money, and that's probably not going to happen. Okay, we're going to get to these super chats now. Appreciate you all for being here. Thank you for all the supers. $20 haulers get immediate attention on screen. I've got Ian with a $20 hauler. Ian, appreciate you, my guy, dropping a $20 wad. We got Thomas coming in strong with a 20 wad. Thomas to the moon. Appreciate you, Thomas. We've got a couple others in here. I know I saw them. Bendu, appreciate Bendu with the $20 hauler. My man, Bendu, appreciate you, bro. We got a $50 hauler from Joe, who's going to get the most immediate attention. I hate to tell you that Joe just grabbed the spotlight. Joe, appreciate you, and then all the rest of the super chats I'll get in order in which they've been received. Joe's question is as follows: 12-team full PPR 4-2. This team is Richardson, Bijan, Pollard, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Kittle, benches Waddle, Kirk, Tolbert, Roshan, Algier, Jalen Wright. Got offered Garrett Wilson and Pollard for CeeDee Lamb. I don't know why we're still having this conversation. Like, Joe, I feel like we already did discuss this, or somebody asked this exact question. Lamb chops is so much more valuable than this. I don't understand where Garrett Wilson, who just lost value, is now sharing the spotlight with Davante Adams. So much so that I got to redo my Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers videos, which will be hilarious when I get done with them. But this is like not even close. This is one of the worst trades I could think of right now for you. And I would send him this video back here at 32 minutes into the show. 32 minutes into the show.
You are offer sex. You are made offer sex.
And anybody, and I see the comments. I see there's like been 4 or 5 of them so far that say Garrett Wilson will be okay. Smitty, Garrett Wilson's fine. What do you mean, Smitty? I'm sorry, I don't know why my voice is going so high. Garrett Wilson's gonna be fine, Smitty. Of course you're gonna say that if you own him. You know, like, and don't give me that. I don't have a share of them. Don't give me that. Don't give me that. Of course you're gonna think Garrett Wilson's gonna be fine if you own him. But those are owners of Garrett Wilson trying to optimistically will themselves into a positive mindset. I'm not saying Garrett Wilson falls into a dumpster and becomes a trash can, but there is zero chance. Zero chance. Is he getting Lamb? Someone said he's getting Lamb. Wilson being offered Garrett Wilson and Pollard for CeeDee Lamb. Got an offer Garrett Wilson. Okay, if you're getting Lamb, then you take Lamb. So you get my point, Joe. Lamb chops is worth so much more than Garrett Wilson and Pollard. So much more. So if you're getting Lamb chops, you smash it. It seems like you have Pollard. Yeah, then you take that and run. I'm not sure if that was his team or your team. Sometimes you guys word it backwards. Sometimes I read it just backwards. Sometimes I read it just how it is, and I don't even take sides because I don't know if it's meant backwards. Lamb chops is worth a top 5 overall pick of drafting today. I don't care what he's done. I don't care what Dak looks like right now. The people that say, what about, aren't you worried about, that's what I'm going to get. Aren't you worried about Dak? I'm not worried about Dak throwing to CeeDee Lamb. I'm worried about Dak and the team winning and making the playoffs. And sure, it's a whole different conversation. I mean, have you been worried about other players that play on bad teams? Have you been worried about Daniel Jones? when you're talking about how Neighbors has been getting the football, it's wild to me that we're even having conversations about CeeDee Lamb being attainable for a man like Garrett Wilson that just was handed a worse situation. There's no chance that Garrett Wilson's value goes up. He just had 2 back-to-back monster 100-yard and a touchdown games. And you expect Davante Adams to march into town? No one's saying that Garrett Wilson from weeks 1 or 2, that he can't play better than that. If you're trying to compare that, you're going back in time trying to justify this. Garrett Wilson just became the focal point of the passing attack. And Garrett Wilson, under this new coaching staff, the shake-up coaching staff, was the guy. He got tons of volume. The targets were there. Should have had 2 touchdowns. His target share was insane. Should have had 2 touchdowns and about 120 yards. And now all of a sudden you got Davante Adams coming in to grab target share. There's zero chance. I'm sorry, but you're living in la la land. If you think Garrett Wilson's value goes up, maybe it doesn't take as big of a hit as some fear. I've said that over and over. Maybe he's a good wide receiver too, but he doesn't have wide receiver 1 value anymore because Adams is going to bleed into that production and steal it. So this is the easiest question I've been asked all day. Lamb. The side of Lamb, Joe. Joe, appreciate your $50 hauler. Joe, tell me you hit the button already. Joe, when you hit the button, we're going to do a standing ovation. Someone let me know when Joe hit the button. Joe's crushing it in that trade. $20 hauler from Bendu. Need to make a move. My team is Mahomes, Godwin, A.J. Brown, Walker, Kincaid, Wandell, Gibson. Yeah, this is a tough squad. I mean, I like Worthy in the lineup somehow, some way. So doing a 2-for-1. Joe, did you do the trade, Joe? Let us know, Joe. We're on pins and needles, Joe. Did Joe do the trade? Okay, need to make a move. I would probably say Godwin, A.J. Brown, Walker. I don't know that you can move much on this, bro. A.J. Brown's bye week free. Mahomes is, like, getting rid of them is a pro and a con. Like, if you get the right deal, you still have the bye week that's out of the way now. I would say Godwin. I'm going after Hill and a piece. I'm going after Nico Collins and a running back or something. Nico Collins and a receiver. Maybe you get Tank Dell, and now you can have Tank Dell instead of Godwin for the 3 weeks you're out with Nico. But those would be interesting. Puka and a player. Try and get Puka for free, essentially, Bendu. Those would be great moves to make, in my opinion. And Hill especially would be a good one for you. Did Joe accept the trade? Joe? Where's Joe at? Thomas, 3-3, 8-man league, 2 QB. I have Baker and Geno and Love, Bijan Brees, Aaron Jones, Tracy, Javonte, AJB, Cup, Diggs, Amari, Waddle, Kirk, and Kittle. Want to deal Diggs and Jones for an elite running back. The problem is, bro, Aaron Jones is hurt. And they just traded for Cam Akers. No one's traded for Aaron Jones, bro. Nobody. You know, you could try and trade the 2 of them for Hill. Try it. Maybe somebody does that. Aaron Jones for Nico straight up. Try that. For Puka straight up. Try that. But as far as like a bigger trade, maybe both those guys for JT, you could take a swing. Mason, people are freaking out about it. You take a gamble there. Those are probably the only options for you, my man, in terms of doing that. Let me see if did Joe end up responding? What's his name? DeMaria? Joe DeMaria? Joe, where are you at? Gotta support the homie. Thank you, pal. Appreciate you. Joe says, work the deal for CD for a week. Accepted. Joe's cooking.
Let him cook.
just smashing is what Joe's doing. Hey, Joe, what do you do for work? I smash. Don't listen to anybody that's telling you that you didn't smash getting CeeDee Lamb for Pollard and Garrett Wilson. Because you smashed, Joe. You're a smasher. It's what you do. Do I give Neighbors, Davante Smith, and Tracy to receive Lamb, Pickens, and ETN? Now, this one's tough because Neighbors is good. I'm not saying Garrett Wilson's not still good or a good player, but he's not Neighbors anymore. Doesn't flirt with that value. But I would say like Davante Smith being bye week free, Tracy looking good, Neighbors. This is a very solid side of the trade. And Pickens feels like garbage right now. ETN is injured. I still like ETN, but he may be nothing all year long. Very tough call. Seeing Jamar Chase, Lamb, Garrett Wilson on one roster would look nice, but I can only start 3 wide receivers, and I'm leaving Smith on my bench. So you have a situation where you have an embarrassment of riches, and you want to upgrade your lineup. And if you don't do this trade, your lineup hurts. I get it. I would try and get something else in return if I can. But with your embarrassment of riches, I Smitty approved the trade, even though it hurts to see. I probably would say I would still personally hold off and try and get more. Just another additive player. There's just, I mean, Neighbors is that good, bro. And Smith at bye week free is nice. And the bye weeks are coming up. You will be using all 4 of them with the bye weeks. I would probably just say you got to get more somehow. Maybe there's a player that you could throw in, a Dell or a Worthy. Worthy seems to be thrown into deals left and right. Maybe there's some small quarterback upgrade, some tiny running back upgrade, something of that nature. I do like the ETN side. And honestly, Pickens could be okay. I get, smash the trade. I'd do the trade, Ian. I guess I'd be afraid he'd pull out and not do the trade at the end of the day. I like the idea of getting Lamb Chops and Chase on the same roster. 3 tortoises with a super chat, a $20 hauler at that. So I want to put you at the top here and answer because you get immediate assistance. This team right here is Kyler Murray, Chase, AJB, London, Dell, McConkey, Walker, Sharps, Achane, Mostert, Chase Brown, Corum, Pitts. Got Dell off waivers. Nice. Likely moving for Lamb. Nice. Thoughts on the team and waiver moves. Wright, Garendo, Bigsby. I would definitely look to acquire, if you need a running back in the coming weeks. Let's see here. Achane, bye week out of the way. You got Mostert cuffed. Chase Brown, nice. You could use an RB. I probably would say Bigsby gives you the most bang for your buck right now and the most longevity. Right, you don't know what that's going to... I mean, you could get him and cuff it. It certainly wouldn't be an unsafe move. It would be very safe. I'd almost say drop, because you don't have Kyron, you could almost drop Corum for right now. And Bigsby, I don't know who you would drop, though. I don't think you can drop any of these guys. And if this is your full bench, then you can't really do anything. But as far as a trade, I would say I personally would go after Chase Brown and London for Gibbs and something. Chase Brown and London for Barkley. Chase Brown and London for a top 5-6 running back. Definitely would be on my mind. And I love London. I'm not saying to get rid of him, but you're getting rid of him to get a huge running back, especially like a Barkley who's bye week free. But you might think Barkley's not that attainable, but Barkley just had a bad game. He's had a couple mediocre games in the last month, handful of games. So there's definitely opportunity where people might freak out on him a little bit, just a little bit, enough to make that trade happen or a trade like it happen. I think going after Tyreek Hill using London, and then you give up another player, like let's say you were to trade. Oh, you got Walker. I didn't even see Walker until right now. You got Walker and Sharps. You're good at RB. Walker's fantastic. I like this team a lot. I still contemplate what I'm saying, though. I would still contemplate it. But now I'm very much more excited about getting a receiver, maybe. So Chase, AJ Brown, London. So yeah, maybe lamb chops. Maybe lamb chops in a London and Chase Brown for Lamb Chop's move, or JJ, or honestly, I'm tempted to go get Neighbors using London, although that's risky. Depends if you like riding the risk train. Is Miss Smitty getting dinner? Let's see what she's saying to me right now. I guess wings sound good, pretty good. Okay. We might do wings. All right, here we go. $20 super chats are out of the way. Appreciate you. We got Rodney with a $20 hauler. He goes immediately to the front of the line. I don't think there are any other super chats that are $20 or higher, so I will get back to the order of things here. How do you feel about ETN? I would pick him up if he was on waivers. If you've got Bigsby, the cuff is a must. I think ETN still got a shot at being a wide receiver or running back one low end if like things go perfectly for him. But the fact that he's week to week now does not bode well for him. If Bigsby goes out there and plays badly, then ETN will, once he's ready, bounce back. If ETN, once he's ready, faces a well-playing Bigsby, he might lose his job. He is basically like almost waiver wire fodder, and if you're trading for him, it's dirt cheap. It's for like a Deontay Johnson, and that's probably not something you should even do. Like maybe a lesser receiver than that, like a Shaheed injured or something. That's how cheap ETN should be right now. But he's got a tremendous amount of hidden value that we may never ever see realized, though. You have to understand that he's an enigma, a risk by an extreme margin. 10-team PPR week 7 start Mason, Bigsby, or Bucky. I assume you aren't asking me do you start Mason or Bigsby or Bucky. I assume you're saying like pick 2. Yeah, it looks like you're asking me Mason. How? Yeah. I mean, if Mason's playing, you play Mason. There's no doubt about it. Bigsby's nice, but Mason's a top 5 to 10 running back. Start Thomas Jr. or Cooper. I'm going Thomas Jr. Don't run away from Thomas Jr.'s upside after one game. Everybody's very, very quick to judge him after one bad game. Jordan Mason, Love, and Reed for CeeDee Lamb. I take CeeDee Lamb, but it's a very good trade. It's a very close trade. And Reed is undervalued here. Mason is undervalued here. And assuming you have Hurts, right? So assuming this guy needs Love, it's a great trade for that other owner. Like, Justin, you're not ripping them off, but you're also getting rid of excess fat to get CeeDee Lamb. Smitty approve it if the depth feels good to you. If you feel like this isn't going to harm your lineup, then I'm all for it. Matta with a $20 hauler gets immediate attention. Appreciate you dropping the 20 spot. Matta to the moon. Let's handle this one, and I'll get back into the order of things. 12-man team or 12-team, no PPR. All TDs are 6 points. We start 1 QB, 2 running back, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end. QB Jaden Daniels, Fields, Gibbs, Achane, love it. DK, Dell, Deontay, McBride. I'm 2-4. Any moves? Thank you. Appreciate you. I'd probably say, like, with this team, I don't know that you can do much unless you were to trade JD5 on the super high. There's not a lot of divide and conquer ability here. Even McBride's hard to trade. No one trusts him yet. I just hang on to him. DK had a bad game. Dell, people don't respect him yet. Deontay, no one's overpaying for Deontay. Gibbs, he just had the bye and he's undervalued. Achane undervalued and had the bye and is coming back from the concussion. You have zero tradability with these players, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying if you trade, you're losing your shirt because you're selling low on anyone you trade. So JD5 for, let's call it a Kyler, or how about Mahomes? Bye week out of the way. Go trade JD5 for Mahomes to get a Nico Collins thrown in, to get a wide receiver upgrade from Deontay to a player like, Nico, or maybe you get Mahomes and I don't know, something that's significant. I'm not talking about a small potatoes thing. Like, you can't trade JD5 unless you're getting something significant. That's if you ask me to concoct a trade for you. Now, would I do it? Probably not. I would probably say hold off. Let's wait a week and see what's what. Maybe JD5 goes crazy and he affords you an even bigger trade. But if I'm getting a Cooper Kupp thrown in for that QB downgrade to Mahomes, or I'm getting something significant, I'm thinking about it for sure. But Matta, that's the only move you can make, period. There's nothing else you can do. Otherwise, you're losing your shirt. Appreciate you, Bendu, with another $20 hauler. You straight up monster. Super chat monster. Wild Bill coming in with a 20 wad. Wild Bill's a beast. Wild Bill says, the reason why I don't have a question is because you've been solid all off season and I actually listened. So thank you so much for all your awesome solid advice way early on. Keep on keeping on with the awesome work ethic. Thank you, Wild Bill. Wild Bill to the moon. Wild Bill, let's give him a Mars shot.
To Mars.
Hope you like Mars. I just sent you there, pal. Mahomes, Godwin, AJ, Kyron, Walker, Kincaid, Robinson, Cousins, Worthy, Warren, Chubb, Gibson, left out players last time. Sorry. Bendu says, are these for drops? Then my drops from these players, if I'm giving you, the guys to maybe get rid of for free agency, I'd say Gibson. I don't worry about Gibson. Let's see, Wandell, he's okay. I could cut Wandell for, if I think the question was, let me see if I can find Bendu's question. Bendu. So, Mahomes need to make a move for a good flex. Oh, that was this question. Okay, so Kyron Walker. So Mahomes, Godwin, Kyron, AJ Brown, Kyron Walker. It's a good team. I like the squad. I'm going to tell you this. I'm still very interested in trading Godwin into something like Lamb. I don't know that you have the firepower. Maybe Chubb earns you that this week. Who knows? Probably not. Kincaid, I don't think, can push it over the edge. You might be able to do like a Godwin and Chubb and Worthy for like a Lamb. Just try it. I've seen Lamb get given away, bro. That Pollard and Garrett Wilson deal. Garrett Wilson's value's tanking downward, and this guy, Joe, absolute magician wizard of a trader. The Veto Police legend has it, are looking for him right now. He got rid of Garrett Wilson on the decline. Garrett Wilson's tailing out, free falling, tailspin. He trades him and Pollard and gets Lamb. So I don't know. Chubb might have appeal to people. If not, Tyreek Hill. Chubb and Godwin for Tyreek Hill and something. Get something. But I go after Lamb. I go after JJ. I go after Jamar Chase. Thank you, pal, for the $20 super chat. Anthony with the $20 hauler says 12-team PPR. Hurts, Cousins, Mahomes, Gibbs, Kamara, Allen, Bigsby, JJ Hill, Neighbors. Look at that wide receiver room. JJ Hill and Neighbors and Puka. Should I trade anyone? If you could start all four of those wide receivers, I like it. I don't know if I touch it. Gibbs, Kamara, yeah. I don't think I touch this team. I love, if you got two quarterbacks, though, I'd be very tempted. Both of them have the bye week out of the way. I'd be very tempted to sell one of them to get, let's say, a safer Kamara upgrade, or keep Kamara. I love Kamara, but maybe you can get, maybe you could get Barkley, bye week out of the way as well. That if I can't do that, I mean, maybe I'm trying to upgrade Puka into, Puka and Hurts into Lamb. Damn, throw Bigsby in, into Chase, into you got JJ already. Into Chase would be interesting. Puka and Hurts into Chase. I mean, it depends on if there's any QB needy teams. If not, I'm kind of just holding this team. It's really good. You got the depth. I'm not even worried about making a trade. That's a really good team. Sometimes messing with a team that's that good is bad news. Dylan with the blank $4.99. Dylan, I appreciate you. Maybe you dropped another one somewhere. Appreciate you dropping the super chat, pal. This one here from Bendu. He says, thanks, Smitty. No, thank you, Bendu. Appreciate you, my guy. Dropping the wattage tonight. Great team, by the way. Great team. Downs for Jamar Chase, Tracy, and Downs for Lamb and Diggs. I'd probably rather keep the Tracy Jamar Chase side. Like, that's a really good side. I like buying Lamb, but you're giving up Chase. It's not even the same kind of conversation. Let's see here. A blank 499 from Trent. Trent, thank you for dropping that. I don't know if you dropped another question somewhere, but I appreciate you dropping your super chat. And this one right here, should I trade Mason for Pollard or Dobbins? No, absolutely not. I think this is devaluing Mason. You're getting rid of Mason like he's a ham sandwich. Not worried Mason hurt that shoulder in the game. It's an AC joint. It's a grade 1. It's a pain tolerance issue. I'm certainly concerned about it if he ends up like injuring it again or something, but not not right now for starting unless more news breaks that it's between a grade 1 and a grade 2 and they're worried about it getting worse. Garendo could start. Like you gotta try and get Garendo if you can. But if Mason's starting, you're starting him. I mean, it's very simple. If he's starting, you're starting him. If he's not, you don't. But if he's starting, you're not putting him on the bench. He's a top 5 to 10 running back. I'm 4-2. Guy in my league has JJ and Lamb 2 and 3 going for it. Attaboy Tortoises, appreciate you dropping the super chat. All right, let me go back to the top, answering these super chats in order in which they were received. Rob Hess dropped one a while ago. Rob, let's get yours out of the way here. Dynasty League, would you move a 2026 first rounder for Keon Coleman? No, I wouldn't. I hate to say it, man. It is what it is. Getting Amari Cooper is not great for Coleman's long-term value or short-term. Not devastating for his his long-term value, but definitely not great for it right now. I feel like Keon Coleman's getting the short end of the stick, but it is what it is. You got to adjust and adapt. I love the guy. I think he's very talented. I love Keon. His size, everything about the kid is exciting. I feel like he just got mistreated. And, you know, there's a lot of people that feel that way. So I'm not giving up a first rounder for him, though. It sucks to say that. Do I trade my Amon-Ra and Bowers for Taylor and Ingram? Amon-Ra and Bowers for Taylor and Ingram? No. No. No, no, no. I mean, HN, Aaron Jones. I mean, you do need a... You could use... I still don't because he's injured. I just can't do it. 10-man PPR, Adams and Swift for Hill and Bowers. Adams and Swift for Hill and Bowers. I'd rather my other running backs are Kyron, Bijan, Mason, CMC. You're good at RB. So I'm not really worried about Swift. Adams and Swift for Hill and Bowers. Give me Hill and Bowers. Yeah. That's a good trade. I kind of like that. That's crafty. Let's see here. Jax, appreciate you. 10-man, 2 and 4. Love. Neighbors, Cooper, Moore, Hall, Taylor, Dowdle, Irving. Good squad. Laporta. Trade Amari Cooper. Reed. Trade Amari Cooper for Reed. I'd rather have Jaden Reed. But Cooper is definitely exciting. They could be argued as close, but I'm going to take the player that I think is just super exciting. I don't know. It's close. If you wanted to go get Cooper for Reed, I wouldn't blame you. But I'd rather have Reed by a hair. Neighbors, Cooper. Yeah, so would you agree, chat? Reed or Cooper? I just think Reed is a beast, man. I love him. He's a Deebo Samuel type player. He's their best wide receiver. We don't know what's fully in store for Cooper and his workload, especially early on. And this team's really, really good. I like it. I kind of stand down other than that move. I'd trade maybe DJ Moore and Dowdle for one player. Start taking stabs at like Walkers and Achans, etc. Because I've seen people get Achan for cheaper than that, bro. Like, you got to try. Especially Dowdle. There's word that he's going to get more work and all that. Burrow and JSN Braylon for Hurts, Olave. Burrow, JSN Braylon for Hurts and Olave. Give me Hurts and Olave by quite a bit. The bye week's out of the way. Burrow's erratic. I love him, and he can be absolutely amazing. But give me Hurts, who's just feels safer. Traded Monty, Juju, and Addison for BT, Nico. Good trade. No, it's not a good trade. It's a great trade. You smashed him into oblivion on that trade. Except trade Olave and ETN for Nico Collins. I want Nico Collins by a lot. Got offered MHJ for Amari Cooper. Would be my wide receiver 3. I take MHJ. I wait on him. I wait on him. Nico on IR, love it. I'm definitely got MHJ for my Amari Cooper. Yes, it's a great job. I think people that run away from MHJ will be disappointed later. Of course, there's a little bit of a delay right now with the concussion. Trade Jacobs and Chase Brown and Cooper for JT and Reed. I'd take JT and Reed and pretty much run. Anything can happen, though. Traded Mostert for Amari. I'm fine with that on either side. I think Mostert's underrated, but I like Amari Cooper a little bit better in a vacuum, not considering position of need or anything. Traded London for Lamb today. Thanks to you. You're the man, Smitty. Aaron, some people are going to tell you made a mistake, and that's just head scratching to me. Great job. I love London. London's a Mars man. Like I'm not down on London. You know, we're higher on London than anybody. But selling high on London's value right now is not a mistake. How about trading Cooper and Kittle for Adams? Too much. Cooper and Adams are kind of close. You know, I don't think that's wise. Kittle's worth more right now in a very bleak tight end climate. Worldwide, $10 hauler, need to drop one running back. I can only roster 5. Currently, I've got 6 RBs. Jalen Warren on IR, but have to take him off. I have Kyren, JT, Achane, but need to drop either Warren or Bigsby or Dowdle. Drop Warren. Unfortunately, Warren has been a big disappointment. And I'm not saying you don't monitor the guy and give him another shot if he rises up, but right now he's not in that position. So, and Najee's looking pretty decent. 3-3 PPR got offered Adams and B-Rob for Mason and Devontae Smith. I take Mason and Devontae Smith and I run. And look, it is what it is with Mason, but B-Rob Jr. shares work, and I don't think McCaffrey's coming in to steal the job or anything. You know, do I make this trade? Could add Mostert for Waddle also. I'd rather have Waddle over Mostert probably with Tua coming back. So if that's the part you're getting, if not, I'd hold it out. But yeah, I do that trade. I mean, I try and get Garendo. 10-man standard league, Cup, McBride, 49ers D for Kittle, Braylon Allen, Jets D. I'd rather have the Cup McBride side by a country mile. It's not even remotely close. This one here, Kittle, Nico, Terry, Dobbins. I feel like you're yelling at me, Twix. Terry Dobbins, James Cook, Baker for receive, Diggs, Reed, Barkley, Bowers. I have D. Monty, Chase Still, and Mason on my bench. Mason on your bench? You're making trades. Trade away Mason on your bench and go get a receiver upgrade, a Lamb upgrade, a Jamar Chase or a JJ upgrade or something like that, or upgrade to Barkley. You don't leave Mason on your bench. So Kittle, Nico, Terry, and Dobbins, and James Cook and Baker. It's a lot of players. It's hard to digest this. For Diggs, Reed, Barkley, Bowers, Kyler. Kittle, Nico, Terry, Dobbins. Yeah, I mean, in a vacuum, I'm taking the Diggs, Reed, Barkley, Bowers side. But I'm still trying to trade Mason to get something because he can't just waste away on your bench. It's nice depth for sure, but Reds coming in with a $5 watch. So speaking of buying low, selling high, I got Tyreek Hill for Garrett Wilson. Smash. Been working on a trade over the week. Really enjoying the content. Thanks, Reds. Appreciate you. The content enjoys you. Frankie, trade JT Ayuk for Kyren and Pickens. That's a close one, man. When JT's back, this is maybe a close deal, but because JT's injured and he's not fully, even if he played, he wouldn't be fully 100%. I'm taking Kyren with the bye week out of the way, and I'm just going to say thank you, sir. But it's close if JT were healthy. Like, truly, we got to give JT that respect, but know that his situation is not healthy. Trade Jaden Daniels for Jacobs, Christian Kirk, and Coleman. Absolutely zero chance I'm trading JD5 in that trade. That is an awful trade. Chuba Hubbard, Ridley for Cooper and Justice Hill. Hubbard is my running back 3. Chuba Hubbard and Ridley for Cooper and I think you're buying Cooper way too high, personally. I think Chuba Hubbard's got more value than that. But I could Smitty approve this if it's the only deal you can make. You want a wide receiver badly. That's fine. Chuba's playing well, but he does have a little bit of an expiration date. Not to go away, but just complications coming. Caleb, Geno, Waddle, Downs, Dell, JSN, Worthy, Kyren, CMC, Kendre, Mason. Trade Taylor, Sutton, Mahomes for Mason, CMC, Waddle. Flip Geno for Tolbert. Okay. Trade Taylor, Sutton, Mahomes for Mason, CMC, Waddle. I'd rather have Taylor and Mahomes. I just rather have Taylor and Mahomes. Mason and CMC is nice, but what's that look like? And Waddle, I don't know what that looks like either. Mahomes, if that's your starter, and look, Caleb's doing okay, but I'm not starting Caleb over Mahomes personally. I know some people are ready to write Mahomes off. That's fine. I'm not. I'm ready for the comeback. But in JT's, it's not horrible. If you want to do it, I wouldn't Smitty disapprove it. I just don't think I would do it. Dell and Tracy for MHJ. I'd probably rather have Dell and Tracy right now. Dell's going to have 3 weeks of glory, and I don't think he goes away after. I've always liked Dell this year, even with Collins on the roster. This is gonna be a get right couple weeks for him. But Tracy's also tremendous value. I love MHJ. If it was Dynasty, MHJ in a heartbeat. I'm getting MHJ, Neighbors, Adams, Worthy. I don't mind it though. If you did it, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I just think that Dell and Tracy is a lot to give up. Tracy looks really good right now. He might have the starting job. I think you could almost give up Tracy for MHJ and say, look, you want an RB, you want an RB. If not, I'll enjoy the riches of Tracy. My MHJ Mason for CD, I would take CD and run. Shows absolute nails. Thank you. Appreciate you, bro. Trade Chase Cooper for Lamb Pickens. No, I'd rather have Jamar Chase right now. I love Lamb, but Chase is in a better spot. And this is not one of those Lamb trades that we've been talking about. I'd rather have Cooper as well than the other side. So I think both sides on the Chase side are better. What's a good running back to go after for Nico? Full PPR was thinking Walker. That's an excellent choice. Mason, if you want to take a little bit of a gamble. Kamara as well. Achan. And obviously, you throw in a little more, you can get Gibbs. All of those guys are attainable. Jared Smitty, I traded Pollard, Worthy, and Dowdle for DK and Cooper and Gibson. I really, really like that trade. Absolute smash. Would you also trade Flowers and Cooper for David Montgomery? I would trade either one in a heartbeat for David Montgomery. And honestly, I don't know which one I'd rather keep. I guess I'd rather keep Cooper by a hair over Flowers. Despite Flowers having such a big game, it's an inconsistent environment. Got offered Debo, Kenneth Walker, and DJ Moore for CD and James Cook. I take probably... Damn, this one's tough. This one's tough. Chat, can we vote on this one? Would you rather have Debo, Walker, and DJ Moore, or CD Lamb and James Cook? James Cook's injured right now. Debo's playing great. Walker's phenomenal. I'd probably rather have the Debo side. But this is not an example of those trade ideas for CD that we're talking about. This is a good one. Pretty even. If Cook is healthy, let's say Cook is ready to go this week. I want the Cook side. I'll put it that way. If Cook is healthy and back in the lineup, I want the CD and Cook side. But right now, that's not the case. And so, I don't know. I lean the other way for now. The Debo side by a hair. But that's how close it is. That once Cook's healthy and if he's back in the lineup, that side's going to win. How many weeks is it going to take for that to happen? That's what you have to value. So I'd say for right now, the Debo side, but I like it a lot. If you did it, I'd be excited about either side. Someone dropped Mahomes. Should I make him a priority ad? Yes, full load drop on Mahomes. It's ridiculous. It's reckless. It's irresponsible. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. Sup, Smitty? I got offered Kyron and Walker for Jamar Chase. I would take Kyron and Walker for Jamar Chase and CMC all day long. I also have Mason and Garendo. Do I make this trade? Well, if you get to keep Mason and Garendo, I would rather have the Kyron and Walker side and send Jamar Chase and CMC packing. But that's me. That's me. Some people believe in CMC's return. I don't. Would you drop Bigsby, Mostert? I have Achan or JSN for Davis. I would drop JSN for Davis in that situation. Tracy's also really good though, man. That's a fantastic player to add. I don't know that I could drop. I'd drop my kicker for Tracy, and then that buys you time to make a trade. McLaurin or Cup, you got to start McLaurin until Cup's fully healthy. If he's deemed healthy and ready to go, no restrictions, I go Cup. But I don't know if we'll have that indication yet. Garrett Wilson equals Waddle if Tua was playing at his number 2, is what Daniel says. We'll see. Traded away JK in London for Hill and Hill and Chase Brown. JK in London for Hill and Chase Brown. I could get behind either side. Look, London's playing as well that you could argue Hill or London, London or Hill. I think Hill, the only argument is if Tua's back, he's a top 5 wide receiver, right? Now I'll have CD and Hill. Smitty approved that approach. And I'm okay with people taking gambles on Hill. I love it. I'm fine with it. Drop Pickens for Worthy or Puka and hold Pickens. I would drop Pickens for Worthy in a heartbeat. And honestly, like, I want Puka too somehow, bro. I would want both of them. I can't even decide. But yes, for sure. Chubb or Brian Robinson Jr. I'd take Brian Robinson Jr. Bro, he's doing well. Like, no doubt about it. I mean, I know he's banged up a little, but I would take him. Today I picked up CD for DK and Jacobs. DK and Jacobs yesterday. I picked up Puka for Higgins. Good move. I like all those moves. I think Higgins and Puka's arguable because you're getting the Higgins value now. And honestly, they could be the same value even when Puka returns. But I don't mind this at all. I think they're both really, really good moves. I think you didn't devalue your team at all. I think you did good. This here, 4-2 PPR, JD5, Hall, Achane, Neighbors, Dell, Cooper, Kelsey. Trying to trade Kittle. Any ideas? Kittle and maybe a Chase Brown for a Achane, a JT, a Kamara, a Mason. The wide receivers you could attack, obviously a Neighbors, a Tyreek Hill, a Lamb Chops if you're lucky. But Kittle certainly has tremendous value if you couple him with Chase Brown or even with a, let's call it, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying to trade JD5. You're 4-2. You probably are best not to make any big moves. So if you can get something done like that, do it. Kittle, you got Kelsey. So Kittle for Nico. Why don't you do that? Oh, you got Nico. Damn it. Kittle for JT would be perfect. Chase Brown and for JT. Wide receivers, as I said, you could even go Kittle for someone like, I'd definitely go after Hill. I'd definitely go after Cup. I'd definitely go after Nico if you didn't have him. For anybody that's watching, that's the same scenario. But that's tough. I mean, Puka, you'd have to get a whole lot more. Otherwise, I'd just hold on to him. And I was going to say you could do some complicated JD5 trade, but you don't need to. You're 4-2, so just stand down. Ride the JD5 train into the bank. Trade Mike Evans for Nico. I'd rather have Mike Evans right now. I mean, it depends on his health. You know what? Give me Nico. It's bold. It's crazy. You're waiting 3 weeks, but give me Nico. Also traded Bijan and Baker for Breece Hall. I have JD5. That's a fantastic move. Bro, you have the record to wait on Nico, and Nico's that good. I'm probably waiting on him. Smitty, I got JF1 AR5 on the IR spot. Caleb Williams. With Caleb on a bye and AR5 hurt, who he might play. He might play still. Should I drop Justin Fields and ride Caleb with this soft schedule? Yes, that's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm not afraid of you starting Caleb, but don't drop AR5. I still think there's upside, and he probably has a strong shot at still playing this week, although there seem to be wavering a little bit right now. I've got Chris Godwin, Garrett Wilson, Adams, and Neighbors. Which to start? You got to start Godwin and Neighbors if Neighbors is playing. If he's not playing, then you got to probably go, I would say Davante Adams. And then a flex would be Adams if you could start both wide receivers, and then obviously Garrett Wilson if you're resorting to that. But nice team, good options, nice work. Really good squad. All right, let me see if there are any $20 haulers. There are not. Let me get these super chats here out of the way. Got sent Mahomes for Fields. I accepted. I have Hurts. It doesn't matter if you have Hurts or not. That's a smash. Why would someone do that right now? Why would they give you Mahomes for Fields right now? Trade my Justin Jefferson for their CD Lamb straight up. This is where JJ's probably just as good and safer, maybe. This is not the scenario we're mapping out. But I could get behind either side, to be honest with you. I think Lamb's going to go crazy, but that's me. I'm buying him at every turn. MH and Pickens for CD and Braylon. That's where I'm talking about. Like, people are taking advantage of people with CD Lamb. Great job. Go do it. Do it live. CD Lamb all the way. Should I offer Kyron Metcalf for Chase and Walker? I would definitely say this is even. I like Kyron the most in the entire trade. I like Chase second. And Metcalf and Walker are pretty damn even. It's a close trade. My other running backs are Jacobs, Gibbs, and Chase Brown. I'd probably rather have Metcalf and Kyren in that. Well, you know, I guess it's even. It's dead even. I wish I could tell you that there's an answer here. There's not. This is the most even trade I've seen all year. Guys, Kyren and Metcalf or Jamar Chase and Walker. Can you please vote on this one? Kyren's got that bye week out of the way, broski. That's huge. I'm probably going to lean the Kyren side for that reason, but that is a crazy trade. Can I get a vote on that one, guys? Jeez. That's wild. Would you drop Shakir for Juju? I would drop Shakir for Juju. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Start 3, Brees, Bijan, Kamara, Henry, London. I'm going to say Brees Hall, Kamara, and Henry. And you trade Bijan and London for like one. Yeah, you're in that crazy super league. Brees, every week for me, it would be Brees, Henry locked in. And then it just kind of comes down to schedule, health, and all that. Like Kamara plays, he's not limited. But, you know, London's a good play this week, too. And Kamara, look, the Saints don't have any receivers. So they'll either use Kamara and use him well, or he gets shut down. I'd probably say Kamara this week, but that's a tough call. I would definitely try and trade Bijan and London if possible, or do some sort of trade. That's a great team. Hubbard and Debo for Hall. I would take Hall. Mason and Fields for Dak and Hill. I'd rather have Dak and Hill. And obviously I'm banking on the return of Hill, right? Is what it is. Yo, Smitty, trade Bigsby and Diggs for Cooper Kupp. I'd take Cooper Kupp. Easy. Got offered Kupp for my St. Brown. I would take St. Brown. And I don't even think about it. And the bye weeks out of the way for both of them, so that's great. But I mean, Kupp is older. He's been banged up. You can't do that. So Taylor, Mahomes, Sutton side. I don't know, Leo. I don't have the thing in front of me anymore. You got to put everything in the self-contained super chat because I have no way to go back and look it up without destroying my screen and costing me 2 or 3 minutes to look it up and come back. So Taylor, Mahomes, Sutton side. I don't know, but that looks like a damn good side. I think I remember this trade, and I think I told you the Mahomes side. So yeah, if you need double confirmation, yes. You're like me with the roast beef. Miss Smitty, his expiration date says next week. Well, then what do you think? I don't know. Can you please tell me it's good? Ray Davis or Garendo off waivers. Ray Davis for right now because, bro, he might get another start. Should I trade Garrett Wilson and B-Rob for Amon-Ra and Pollard? I'd rather have Amon-Ra. Eric, do it live. Traded Davante for Amari Cooper and Ramondre. It's even trade. I mean, we don't know which player is going to be better. Amari or Amari Cooper or Davante. I'd probably rather have. I don't know. Chat, would you rather have Amari or Davante? Let's vote on that one, please. Najee Reed or Najee Flowers for Achan. I'd rather give up Flowers than Reed. Prodigy. And London for Mason and Ayuk. I'd rather have Mason and Ayuk. And this one right here, trade Wilson and Addison and Hunt for Cooper and B-Rob. I'd rather have the Wilson side. All right, let me get back. I have some super chats that have been here a bit that I want to get out of the way in order in which they're received. I got all the small ones out of the way real quickly that just came in, just were cleared. Team is AR5, Saquon, Jacobs, Wilson, MHJ, Davante Smith, Laporta. Bench is Fields, Bigsby, and Njoku. Trade suggestions. I'd probably say... Jeez, bro. I don't know what to tell you here other than because your depth isn't like you can use much of it. Worthy I like a lot. Pacheco's tradable. Maybe you're getting rid of a Jacobs and a Worthy for one HN or JT injured. You take a gamble, or you go after MHJ using Bigsby. You go after potentially CD Lamb using Jacobs and Davante Smith. Those are all moves I would make. I love Tyreek Hill for you. I love Walker as a buy low, 100%. We got a $20 hauler, gets immediate attention. This one's from Myra, coming in with a 20 watt. Appreciate you. Getting Saquon for London and Bijan. Have Allen, yeah. I definitely am okay with that. Saquon's got that bye out of the way. Bijan's been underperforming all year, but we love him still. He had the 2 touchdowns, but I get that you have the depth to do this. For anybody that doesn't have the context here, you're definitely overpaying London and Bijan for Saquon's a lot. But that's the asking price for the number 1 or number 2 overall running back. And you are a embarrassment of riches. It's not the craziest move in the world. Do I wish you got something else? I do. But you did get a player that upgrades your lineup, given that you're putting all these guys on the bench and you're in a super league, like an 8-man, 8-man league. It's like that's what you got to do in order to get a Barkley. So for context, if anybody's like, why did you do that trade? You kind of had to. Roughly, what's Bijan, Mixon, and Cup Dell's value? All of those guys together? I mean, I don't know, 808 guy. You that's a boatload of players. I would say Mixon. I think I could only break this down 1 for 1. Like Mixon's got a value of like DK or higher. Bijan, same thing. Cooper Kupp. I would go after JT if I needed a QB or a running back. I'd go after Achane or Achane for Kupp, like type of thing. A Mixon for Tyreek Hill if I was going running back to wide receiver. Dell doesn't have a lot of value. I'd have to. It's a little vague of a question, but hopefully I gave you a little bit of an idea of where I see those guys' value. Tatered with a $20 hauler. Lamar, Kyron, Mason, CD, Nico, Laporta, Cup, benches, MHJ, BT, Chase Brown. Trade MHJ and Mason for Gibbs. That's a lot. I want something else, but at the same time, I love the trade. You got the buy out of the way. Mason could become a little less relevant. I take it. I probably take it. I try and get something else, but I take it. Gibbs is that good to me. At the end of the day, I'm doing that if I'm you. At the end of the day, drop Najee for Ray Davis or Bigsby. I don't know. I'd try and trade Derek. I would drop my kicker and then try and execute upon a trade. There's no reason you should be dropping Najee Harris. You should be able to get rid of him for even a small quarterback upgrade. And I'm talking like you get like Mahomes instead of your quarterback, or you figure out a way to. There's just no way you have to drop Najee Harris. Like you could easily get rid of him, even a small tight end upgrade. $20 hauler from Chris coming in strong. Smitty, I'm 2-4 and I'm in a strut. You mean you're in a rut? Here to do a trade. I have Mahomes, Caleb, Kyron, Achane, Etienne, Tank, Eckler, Amon-Ra, Davante Smith, Shakir, Mitchell, Hawkinson on IR. I'm in a rut here with a trade. Okay, so I'm probably saying stand down. Yeah, Amon-Ra and Davante Smith are bye week free, bro. Kyron's had the bye. Achane's had the bye. Mahomes has had the bye. Chris, I hate to tell you, bro, but you need to stand down. There's nothing to do here. Every player you have, I like. Even Etienne and Tank, I just like that combo. I think it'll be okay. It'll serve you well. And Amon-Ra and Davante Smith, that bye week out of the way. The only thing I consider is like Davante Smith and, let's say, Tank Bigsby to get a Hill or a Lamb or a receiver of that caliber, a Neighbors. That's it. You can't pull that off, bro. I think I'll walk away from the trade table, my guy. Mike Evans for DK. I'd rather have DK because Mike Evans is banged up. Okay, back to the top. Let's get these super chats out of the way. I got offered Dowdle and Mason for my Kamara. I'd rather have Kamara, to be honest with you, because Mason does have a complicated situation. Do I take the trade or leave it? I'd probably leave it. I'd maybe trade CMC to the Mason owner. 10-team PPR. 10-team PPR. Braylon Allen still available. Pick up on waivers, or is there someone else I should cuff? Braylon Allen. I don't know. I mean, I don't know who's on your waiver wire, bro. But, I mean, Braylon Allen's fantastic. But if Davis, Tracy, Bigsby, or even maybe Garendo are there, then you consider them. But, yeah, I definitely grab Braylon Allen off waivers. He's still got win-a-league potential. If something, knock on wood, happened to Breece Hall, Braylon Allen would go through the roof. He'd go to the moon. Benji with a $5 hauler. Benji, appreciate your $5 hauler, bro. 1 QB dynasty. Would you add on the top of Dobbins to get Rice? I have plenty of picks. I don't know. Rice is going to be suspended for probably 6 to 8 games, bro, and coming back from a nasty injury. The best case scenario injury, but I don't think I'm giving up first rounders or anything to get him when he's going to be suspended 6 to 8 games, unless it's a late first rounder. So like Dobbins and one late first rounder, I could get behind that. But you got to understand that he's going to be coming back from injury and also maybe suspended for 6 to 8 games. Probably will be. Yo, Smitty, any changes? 14-man PPR. Looking at the squad, I'd say nothing really on the bench to trade. I do love the Nico Collins on the bench. 3-3 so far. Proposed a trade Monty with Mostert and Wright. So far proposed a trade for Monty with Mostert and Wright. So Mostert and Wright for Monty. Of course I would take Monty if that's what you're saying. Yeah, Monty, that'd be a great trade. Other than that, J-Mo, Jamar Chase, pretty solid love. I'd probably keep those guys. I don't think you even sell high right now given what they didn't do last week. I would try to do what you're doing. Maybe Walker is another option. Maybe JT injured is another option. Achan's another option. And past that, I don't know that there's a whole lot to tell you to do other than wait. Maybe J-Mo and maybe try to get James Cook from the go get James Cook using God, what do you use? Kincaid? I don't know if it'll get it done. I don't really want to trade J-Mo for James Cook unless you get something back, but maybe that helps you. I don't know. Benji, that's a tough team. You almost have to wait a week. Jamar Chase doesn't even get the value that you need to get. If that's your team right there, maybe you didn't list a lot of guys or something, but you might have to let Jamar Chase blow up and then trade him for 2 players. You might have to do a 2-for-1 with Jamar to get that team into a position to win. I'm sorry to tell you. Just got offered Laporta and K1 for Stroud and Kincaid. I'd rather have Laporta and Kyler. JD5 is my starter, especially in that case because I like Laporta over Kincaid, so I want the Laporta side of that trade. This here is a super chat from Ernie. Appreciate you. 12-team PPR was offered Kupp and Garrett Wilson for JT and Tracy. I'd rather have Kupp and Garrett Wilson, especially being JT banged up still. I have Kyron. Yeah, doesn't even matter because I'd flip it for, the team matters, but it doesn't at the same time because I'd flip it for other things if I needed to. Traded Higgins for Hill. I'd rather have Tyreek Hill by a mile. Great trade. Other moves, I'd maybe consider trading Monty and let's see here, Walker. Let's see here. You could keep Monty and Gibbs and send Walker packing if you wanted to try and get like Evans into, let's see, Scary Terry into Lamb. You could go Walker and Terry for Lamb and something, or if you didn't want to do a 2-for-2 and you'd have to get something back, how about Waddle and Walker straight up for Lamb? I like keeping Monty and Gibbs together, probably. That's a solid move. But, to be honest with you, Dylan, if I'm being completely honest, bro, I'm just trying to cook up something. I'd probably hold this team. I don't think you need to trade anything. Maybe Terry and Evans for Lamb. Try that. Terry and Evans for Lamb, or Evans and Waddle for Lamb. Strike that. I would do that. But everything else, I'm just trying to force an idea. I don't like the idea of doing that. I'm just going to hold. But I like getting that lamb chops. Possible moves. Cousins, Achan, Cook, Laporta, Reed, JJ, BT. Hunt has some value. Hunt and maybe Reed for... Hunt and BT or Hunt and Reed for Lamb. Cook and Reed or Cook and BT for Gibbs. Kyron. PPR 10 team. Love, Gibbs, Hall, Kyron, London, St. Brown, McBride, Benches, Cooper, BT. Any moves? Gibbs, Hall, love it, Kyron. No. Stand down. Cooper and BT and J-Mo, Brooks. Those guys. Try and get something there. You go after an Achan with that. Go after a Love upgrade into Josh Allen using the bench talent. That's it. Don't touch the lineup. Use the bench talent to get Love upgraded, or to get potentially just some extra piece like Tyreek Hill using J-Mo and Brooks. You could probably get CeeDee Lamb. You could probably get CeeDee Lamb using BT, JMO, and Brooks, which I would do. They got a lot of depth. I like the depth. I'm not saying get rid of the depth and throw it away, but goodness gracious, you could do a lot with that. Dalton with the $20 super chat. Appreciate you. Myra with another $20 hauler. Myra, appreciate you. Let's start with Dalton's 5-1 thinking of playoffs. 10-man PPR. Love Kyron, Hall, Gibbs. Love it. London, St. Brown, McBride. Benches, Bigsby, Cooper, BT, Fields. Is this the one I just did? Jameson just got Hall and Debo and Hubbard. Hall for Debo and Hubbard. Nice job. I like Hall and Debo, or Hubbard and Debo. That's good. I would probably hold this move. This team, I wouldn't make any moves. You're 5-1 for a reason. That running back stable's legit. That wide receiver room is off the hook. So let's get a quarterback upgrade. That's it. Upgrade Love. I'd even go get Mahomes personally in conjunction with Love, and then have the rotation by getting rid of, let's say, Brooks or whatever, Cooper or Brooks. Get Mahomes. Have Love and Mahomes, so you're all ready to go. You've got arsenal and weaponry ready to endure anything. Or you upgrade Love using Brooks or using Cooper to get into Josh Allen or Hurts, let's say. That's the only thing you should be doing with your team. Okay, so now I'm getting Barkley and Achane for Bijan, Rashad White, and London.
You've just been Smitty approved.
You finessed him, yes. You're getting Barkley, Achane for Bijan, Rashad White, and London. That's fantastic. Smitty approved 100%. What a trade. What a trade. Best trade of the day, probably. Debo and Hunt for Kyron. I would take Kyron. He's got the bye week out of the way. I'm doing that. Trade JD5, Evans for Love and Hill. I'd probably say this is 50-50 because of Evans' injury. If Evans wasn't banged up, the JD5 side would crush. But I think there's some worry. I'd probably say Love and Hill has some appeal, but it's probably even because of the injury. JD5 is that good. But would I take Love and Hill? Probably. And that's just being real. I love JD5. Just traded my Bijan and Ray Davis for MHJ and BT. I'm okay with that. That's an okay trade, Murph. I think that's a way to kind of get out of the risk that is Bijan. That's fine. Just traded Henry, BT, and Fields for Mixon, Hill, and AR5. The rest of my team is Brees, Mason, Kyler, and McBride. Okay, so you traded Henry and BT for Fields and Fields for Mixon, Hill, and AR5. I don't get mad at me, bro. Look, it's close. Mixon's playing great. Okay, if Mixon continues, this is an even trade. But I'd probably rather have BT and Henry on the upside that BT continues to ball out. But that's by a hair. I don't think you did a bad trade at all. I'm just giving you my opinion. I'd rather have the Henry side by a minor amount. 4-2, and if Mixon continues, the Mixon side's even. 4-2, 12-man PPR redraft. Any moves for me? Hurts, K9, HN, AJB, Neighbors, Kincaid, MHJ. I like this squad a lot. There's not a lot to trade. Got Hurts and HN and Neighbors via trades thanks to you. Thank you, pal. Appreciate you. I'm honestly going to wait on this team. Unless I can use, like, Stroud to a QB needy team. But I like having him as a backup plan in a situation if Hurts, gets hurt or something. And he runs a lot. So I would probably give up Bigsby and, let's say, like a Stroud to somebody to get something like a Tyreek Hill type player. Or upgrade MHJ into a CeeDee Lamb or something of that nature. I like this squad a lot. I could upgrade K9 slightly, like to a Kyron or to a Barkley, giving, let's say, Stroud and potentially Bigsby, or would I even give up Kincaid? MHJ and K9 for Barkley and something, for Kyron and something. I'd explore those, depending on the somethings. James, appreciate you. Trade my Chase Brown for Amari Cooper. I'm behind either side. You need a running back, do it. You need a wide receiver, do it. Totally okay with that. Reed, Neighbors, and Waddle at wide receiver. Thank you. Yeah, just use your judgment as to what you feel you need. I'm behind either side. They're both very equivalent. So even trade. Goff, Kyron, Mason, Debo, McLaurin, Goddard, Higgins, Chase Brown, BT, Waddle. 14-man league, 1 and 5. Okay, sorry. I think Miss Smitty's asking about food. I don't even think my team is bad, just unlucky. Yeah, Kyron, Mason, Debo, McLaurin, Higgins. If I'm moving anything on this team, bro, it's trying to get out of Mason into Achane, trying to get out of Mason into Barkley, into Kyron. And by doing that, I'm trying to give a Higgins if I need to, or a Waddle. Past that, I'm trying to get Waddle into Lamb, using maybe Higgins, using maybe BT. I think it's worth it. Mason is tough. Like, you could even downgrade Mason into a JT who's injured, or into a, maybe Kamara's a downgrade, maybe not. Depends on how that owner views Kamara. Kamara's been scoring like crazy, but people are very panicked about him being older and struggling with injuries. I'd probably say like this. You have Kyron already. Kyron's a fantastic running back. Mason and Kyron and Debo is fantastic. I would say I hold on this team unless I can get rid of Chase Brown and Higgins for a JT, Chase Brown and Higgins for an Achane, Chase Brown and Higgins for a Tyreek Hill, Waddle and Higgins, Waddle and Chase Brown for a Tyreek Hill. Hill's a very good buy low. Nico Collins you could get to wait on. You're 1 and 5, but I still think it could be something that makes you win the league if you can weather through it. So what would you give up for that Waddle for Nico? But that doesn't help you now. I think Walker's a good buy low at running back. It's a good team. I'm not panicking if I have that squad. I think it's pretty good. Smitty, is Garrett Wilson for Debo a good trade? I take Debo by quite a bit. So yeah, if you're getting Debo, yes. Waivers in order: Bigsby, Ray Davis, Douglas, Juju. I would go Ray Davis, then Bigsby, then Juju. Yeah. I've been making crazy moves. Running backs are K9, Monty, Mason, Connor, Chuba, JJ, Amon-Ra, Diggs, T. Higgins. Who do I start? I would start Mason and K9 and Monty as my 3 RBs if I'm given a flex option, and JJ and Amon-Ra. And if you got another flex, it would probably be, for me, it would be Diggs right now over Higgins, but maybe you trade Diggs and Higgins. Maybe you go get a CD Lambrowski using Connor, Higgins, and Diggs. Or even maybe upgrade from K9 into Gibbs using K9 and Diggs or Higgins. Get rid of this dilemma you have each and every week. AG, appreciate you. Douglas off waivers or Watson? Probably Watson. Any package I could offer for Nico or Lamb. I would say for Nico, I would give up probably a tight end, McBride or Laporta, and I'd throw something in, honestly, like Brooks. I would do it to get Nico. Bigsby, I'd do it to get Nico. Puka on IR, hold him there. He's worth so much more than you could get via trade. Lamb chops, I don't know if you could get lamb chops using McBride or Laporta. I'd probably rather keep Laporta with the bye week out of the way. But I don't know if you could get Lamb using Walker and McBride or Garrett Wilson. How about Garrett Wilson and McBride, and you consider throwing in things like Shaheed, McLaurin, and Garrett Wilson for Lamb could also work. AG, those are good ideas, I think, for that team. Fantastic squad overall, my friend. $10 hauler from Zen. Appreciate you. Just traded Baker and Sutton for Tony Pollard. That's okay, I guess. I have Hurts, sure. Person got there. Baker dropped. Kyler picked him up and trade. Pick him up and trade. The person that got Baker dropped Kyler. Oh, dropped Kyler. I got you. Yes, pick up Kyler and hold or trade. The Wire also has Chandler. He's pretty good. I'm not really worried about anything else, but I like Chandler because he could start this week. But I definitely pick up Kyler and hold. You might hold for a week, let Kyler pop off, then trade him. I don't think you can trade him for anything right now. PPR, 14-team, Fields, JJ, Neighbors, Higgins, DK. Love the receivers. Chase Brown, Gibbs, Mason, Garendo. Love this team. Will you trade Mason and Higgins for CD? Absolutely. And that's what I was just going to suggest. Or JJ or Jamar Chase. But past that, I'd probably hold because that team's very well balanced. 10-team, 2-4, K1, Bijan, Brees, Tyreek, Amari, Ayuk, McBride, benches, Chase Brown, Dowdle, MSJ. Tracy was offered CD for Bijan. I'd rather have CD Lamb over Bijan in a millisecond. I'd take that. He's only set on Bijan, go for this or pass. I'd take that and run. Not that I hate Bijan at all. You guys know I love him, but I'm taking CD Lamb. 2-4, any moves to make? Debo, Dell, Goddard, Chase Brown, Juju, benches, Allen, Garendo, Brooks. The only thing you could do, sorry about Rice, losing Rice, bro. The only thing you could do is like Brooks and Bijan for Achane, Kyron, Gibbs. Those are the best ways to utilize, I think, Brooks. Past that, can you use Chase Brown in the same way? Can you upgrade Dell into Tyreek Hill? Past that, I think I'm trying to just upgrade Bijan. And that's not to get rid of Bijan. I like Bijan a lot, but you're asking me to come up with something, and these are the best things I can think of that make your team safer. I like Bijan a lot. I'm not getting rid of him, but I'm certainly trading him away at a high value with the 2 touchdowns if I can make a buy low, sell high work. That's the way buy low, sell high works. Doesn't mean you hate a guy just because you're trying to trade him on the high. Does not mean that. 10-man league, Baker, Jacobs, Amon-Ra, Neighbors, Flowers, Stevenson, Pitts, Mahomes, Mostert, Dowdle, Komet, Tracy, Worthy. Any changes? Probably say with this squad, I know Baker's playing well, but I still would like to have a Mahomes with this. Oh, you got Mahomes. Perfect. Okay. Jacobs, Amon-Ra. I'm trying to trade Jacobs and Flowers for JT injured on the upside. For an Achane on the upside. Jacobs and Flowers for Walker and something in a 2-for-2. Jacobs and Flowers for Lamb Chops. Obviously, I'd do that. I think getting Puka Nacua would be good for this team. So Flowers and for Puka and something. But you deserve something because Puka's not playing for a while. And if not, keep Flowers. But Flowers is somebody I sell high. I sell him high, but it has to be a good package. Maybe Mostert and Flowers for Walker. Maybe JT. You could get JT for that. People are freaking out on JT. Flowers and Jacobs for Neighbors. Flowers and Jacobs for Tyreek Hill. Thank you for the super chat, my guy. Appreciate you very much. Oh, man, it's been a long day. It has been a long day. In a good way, but it's been exhausting. I still may come back for a buy low running back video. We got the wide receiver video already up. You can go watch this. It's like 7 videos back by now. We've done so many videos this week. But go check that video out. The running back version is coming hopefully tonight or tomorrow. I might go live on that. I'm not sure tonight. We'll have to see. 4-2, $20 hauler from Mav coming in strong. Mav, appreciate your $20 hauler, my broski. Thank you so much for dropping that. And Charles coming in with another super chat here. Jackson, Love, wide receivers, JJ Neighbors, Chase, Cup, Wilson, JT Walker, Jacobs, Kincaid, Laporta. Looking for a running back, Hall and CD off the table. Okay, Hunt and Brown waivers. I definitely pick up Hunt. He gets you a lot in the trade, but in a 6, here's the problem, Mav. No one's trading in a 6-man league. You barely got this league together. That's why it only has 6 people. They're not, no offense, but likely very knowledgeable and wanting to, they don't want to look like a fool, make a trade. That's going to be your struggle. I almost guarantee you that this league does not trade. So looking at this team, I think it's really good anyway. I think you're crushing it. I don't think you need to trade. That's the good news. But Connor and Jacobs with Kincaid to a tight end needy team, and there's only 6 teams though. This is only 16 team league I think I ever get questions on. I'm trying to trade Jacobs and Connor with Garrett Wilson throwing in Kincaid for one CeeDee Lamb. Give it all up, all of it. And I don't even know if they can make drops for that to make room for it. Upgrade. It's get Lamb. That's it. It's get Lamb. And at running back, do the same thing to upgrade JT or Walker or Jacobs. Give all of that I described. Connor, Jacobs, all of it to get, let's say, Kyron or Achane or especially Gibbs. You know, Walker, Jacobs, Connor, tight end, all for Gibbs. Garrett Wilson, Jacobs, Connor, or Walker, Garrett Wilson, Gibbs. Mav, that's what I'm doing. Those are the only things you need to do. Would you trade Ayuk for Amari Cooper? I'd rather have Ayuk by a hair just because of the upside that I think he really does still have. But it could become a different debate later with one game of Amari Cooper. One game. Thomas wants me to put Christian Watson on the board. I'll look right here at the availability and we'll put him on the board in a second. If Guerrero starts, do you play him over any of the following? If he starts, I'm playing him over everyone there. If he doesn't start, he's sharing carries. Give me Kareem Hunt or Dell, probably in that order. But very, very close call. Brock, appreciate you. Current team is Mahomes. Would you trade Olave for Chase Brown and Michael Wilson? You mean Garrett Wilson? Would I trade Olave for if it's Michael Wilson, the receiver for the Arizona Cardinals? I would rather have Olave, but it's close. Like Chase Brown could earn this value. I do think you're talking about Michael Wilson. Okay. Chase Brown could have a lot of value going forward if he continues to do what he's doing. Olave's in concussion protocol, probably going to miss this week, but I don't think I write him off. I think it's a very close trade. You need a wide receiver, I go Olave. If you need a running back, I go Chase. And looking at your squad, I think it could go either way. But trust your gut on that. Let's go to the chat. I think Olave and Brooks could get you one better player than Chase Brown and Brooks in a trade, if that makes sense. Or Godwin and... I mean, you could try and trade Godwin and Chase Brown for like a lamb chops or something like that later, I guess, or right after. Chat, would you rather have Olave or Chase Brown? Chase Brown or Olave? Chat, please vote on that question for Culpepper. Let him get your opinion on that. Appreciate you. And as for the waiver wire, let me pull up Christian Watson and see what his availability is in most formats to see if we need to add him. I guess he was cut in an extreme amount of leagues. I apparently, to the point where I didn't even notice that he was one of the top wide receivers, maybe. Watson. Why can't this find Watson? Stupid thing. Availability. Yeah, he's available in 50% of leagues. So we'll put Watson on the board. That's a good one. We'll put him even ahead of. That's a good call, Thomas. We'll put Watson here. I think he probably goes right around this territory. He's very inconsistent, hard to trust, but Watson definitely deserves to be on the waiver board. All right, let me hit these super chats here. We got Matt Slater with a $20 hauler. What's up, Smitty? 3-3. Any moves? Kyler, Cousins, Walker, Sharps, Jacobs, Chase Brown, Guerrero, Lamb, Ayuk, Pickens, Coleman, Dortch. I'd probably say, looking at this squad, I'd probably hold on to most of it. I like the idea of maybe trading away Jacobs and Ayuk for one bigger player. You know, going down the gauntlet of players we keep listing off, like Achane, Kyron, Barkley. Harder to do these. Some of these guys are going to require more, but these are the targets. Do I want to get rid of Jacobs? I kind of do. Do I want to keep Walker? I do. I like Walker a lot, but Jacobs turning into an Achane or turning into an injured JT, I definitely make that attempt. But if you throw Jacobs and Ayuk at JT, you need to get more back. You get Gibbs, you do it straight up. You get Achane, I could do it straight up or get something small back. But that's definitely what I'm doing with that team. Mason and Waddle for Tyreek. I want Tyreek in something, though. I think you deserve to get something else back, but I like the idea and where that's going for sure. Chase Brown for Olave. That's, again, the question I just asked the chat. I lean a little bit toward the Olave side. Got Hall for Bijan plus T. Higgins, I think you mean by T. And Brooks, I'd rather have Hall. But that's a Hall. If you give up T. Higgins and Brooks with Bijan, that's a lot. But I slightly lean Hall, but like I feel like you need to have a lot of depth to pull that off, and I'd rather have Olave. Max, that's a really, really tough call. Olave over Chase Brown. Guys, can we vote one more time? Chase Brown or Olave? Chase Brown or Olave? Please vote in the chat one more time. Give me a good like 15 votes at least from you guys. 10-man league, half PPR, Burrow, Caleb, Henry, Mixon, Jacobs, Hunt, JJ, Ayuk, Moore, Jamison Williams, I guess. No one calls him JW. You got to spell it out, Peter, or I'm not going to know what the hell you're saying. Kelsey, any moves? I probably would say get rid of DJ Moore and Jacobs for one player. You know, Tyreek Hill comes to mind. Running backs like Walker, obviously Achane, injured JTs, Ayuk and Jacobs. I still go after Tyreek Hill and players, and Mixon and Ayuk for CeeDee Lamb. There you go, bro. Tyler, appreciate you. Fields, Darnold, Gibbs, Kyron, B-Rob, Bucky, Tyrone Tracy, Deontay, Kupp, Njoku, St. Brown. Any moves? Honestly, if you want a tight end, go after Laporta on the cheap. He's super cheap. Brian Robinson or Tracy with Deontay, or just one of those guys. Try one. Should get it done. And would I trade Njoku and Deontay for Laporta? I would. And the bye week out of the way, it's a fantastic move. My favorite buy low is Laporta by far and away. By far and away. It's not even close. I think McBride might be my second best buy low, but I'm going after Laporta all day long. What was the vote? Olave seemed to be getting the majority of the vote. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'll probably be back tonight. Maybe. I don't know. I'm exhausted. Maybe not. Appreciate all your super chats. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. You guys absolutely rock. Gonna go eat some grub. It's early enough that I might be back because it's only 7:09 my time. So appreciate you all. 2-hour show in the books. Deuce.